You are ready to finally get online and create that online business. And today I'm going to take you through a few steps on what I believe is truly necessary in order for you to not be a one hit wonder or just step in and then be flooded or like crashed or burned, but really to understand what I want to let you know in terms of creating a sustainable online business, your online presence, and real income. So, the first thing I do believe that is necessary for you to understand is that getting online and being on social media is about being social. It is the real world. One thing that I have mistaken in the earlier stages of being online and creating an online business was that the online world is like somehow separate from the real world, because I think it's not. It is truly the real world. And I believe that if you associate with the online world, it is like the real world. Of course, there are going to be trolls, there are still going to be people that are not matching your vibe and all of that, like the whole landscape. Let me break it down a little more specific. Me, in my personal work and also in my original method, my signature program, the second phase is about understanding the world that we live in. And understanding the world that we live in, especially as a woman of color, a person of color, a person of the global majority, of course you have to understand that the world that we live in is still, even though people are saying it's crumbling, right? We are in the 5D, the new earth, things like that are happening, but we are still living in this old structure. And the structure that I'm talking about is a mindset which has crystallized into the world that we are experiencing, meaning capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, the three biggest power structures of our world as we know it, meaning that we have to first in capitalism be focused on our money, creating value, and then trading our value in exchange for money in order to live, because we still have to pay rent, we still need resources. Okay, then patriarchy is the illusion. Again, it's not real, but it's a made up power construct that men are inherently more valuable than women. And this is still, I'm like, for me, it's always crazy to realize that, but it's still active in the gender pay gap. What the fuck, right? And then also racism. Those power structures have been created by white supremacy and then degrading people of darker skin. So I always think it's important for us to know it. You don't have to dive, you don't have to become an expert at it, but it concerns you. It definitely does. So I always say it's important to understand that that is the context that we have lived in, and that has programmed, subconsciously programmed all of us, right? That is the water that we swim in, means that it's so normal that we don't see it and we don't always talk about it, but we can feel it. And that's why I make it a point to speak about it, to say it out loud, so we can understand, okay, these are all hierarchies and power structures, and understanding that people, white people, men, lighter skinned people, whatever, people subconsciously or consciously know that. And you have to understand what that entails so you can be safe. That's why I speak about it. So you can protect yourself from people, but also just psychologically know where we are. With that being said, this world is slowly being dismantled. Those power structures, those hierarchies, the extracting elite, all of the things are finally coming to light, and therefore being able to be purged and to be released from the human consciousness. But people that are in power will not let go of their power so easily. And that again also is applicable to capitalism, racism, and patriarchy. Okay, so again, I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's very important to understand that's what's going on. And that is also very important because I am a neuroscientifically trained life coach, transformational life coach. And one of the earliest things that I learned from my Harvard trained mentor, that being visible online is literally like being prey in the Serengeti. Like you're putting yourself out there. That's like what's going on psychologically. You're putting yourself out there to be judged, to be evaluated, and to maybe even be scrutinized by the whole world. That is what being on social media is about. Honestly, when you overcome that fear, and all of that is internal work, once you are good with yourself and you have the tools and the techniques, and literally it's all about really working with yourself, being clear about who you are, being clear about what it is that you're talking about, being clear about what you represent, your values. This is everything that I do in the original method. The first phase is about that. You're the star in all of the topics. Your soul's design, meaning astrology, gene keys, your blueprint, and then also your human background, your family, all of the layers that have shaped you. We assess all of that and we see what is truly yours, right? Including your degrees and your expertise and your knowledge and your experience. So when we come online and we know who we are and we are doing the inner work that comes up while learning to be safe, feeling good, to be seen, and to be of service and share our story and our point of view and all of that. This is when we become comfortable being online. I hope that made sense. So, again, it's important to know who you are. Then it's important to know the world that we're in truly, right? Not being naive or not thinking that all of a sudden social media is a completely new world. It's not. It's the real world. It's just a space or little pockets, little spaces, little worlds, little universes, because that's literally what it is. A channel is a whole universe because the person that is cultivating the channel is a whole universe, because or him, she or he, how do you say that? She or him. They are a whole universe with all of their knowledge, their experiences. So you are your own universe as well. And once you feel safe with yourself and you, because that's truly what it is an inner game. Once you feel comfortable with who you are and you have accepted all versions of you, this is when you learn to become comfortable online. This is when it's an experiment. This is when you're trying and when you're just iterating and see what lands and see what goes. And it's no longer about you and your self-worth. And that is the topic truly of today, because I want to share about my journey. And one of the things that I know that I am an expert at teaching is about inherent self-worth and knowing that you are the money. You are the money, you are the resource, you are the value. You and your personality, your story, who you are, that's it. That is the really that is the value. And that's why truly content creation is the best thing to expose yourself to yourself. You've probably heard the saying that in being in business is personal transformation. Being in business is, yeah, personal alchemy, right? It's personal development. It is truly. And because you are judging yourself, and all of the things that you judge about yourself is probably a voice of someone else, of the patriarchy, that is again like you're not beautiful enough, you're not young enough, or you're not thin enough, or you don't look like the beauty standard. That is like most of the thing come from the male gaze. Then maybe you're not worthy, which is for me always associated with capitalism, right? You're not worthy. What is worthy? What is worth even, right? Because the capitalistic world has tried to tell us that we're only valuable when we give to the system, right? Our time or our workforce, literally, right? So we have to cultivate a new sense of worth, of value. How do we create value for other people? Is when we make someone else's life better with knowledge, with wisdom, with understanding, with services, with mindset, with points of view, with products, everything. There are so many things you can really add value to someone else's life. But again, this is how you see where it's connected, right? The patriarchy, the capitalism, and of course then also racism, right? Depending on where you are, I'm very sure you are a woman of color watching this. So depending on what the world tried to tell you, this, like, becoming visible is all about removing all of the toxins of this system from within you, because I always like to say this system is internalized. It's not only outside of us, the water that we swim in. The water that we swim in, we've become like, we swim in the water, we breathe. Like, if we were a fish, we would breathe the water, you get it? Right? But as a human, we breathe the air. It's the same, the atmosphere that we swim in. So we get it contaminated with it. And that is called the human condition. Maybe you've heard that word before, right? The human condition is all of those systems coming down on you, and that creates the human condition, which then creates feelings of lack, scarcity, right? Um, Competition, separation. These systems that I just mentioned, that is the reason why the human condition are these, what we think many times it's like an individual thing. Oh, I feel unworthy, or like I'm afraid not being able to survive. Scarcity, fear, lack, separation, all of this isolation, people are alone, individualism in the worst sense. All of those things come from the bigger picture. Okay, good. So if you feel anything around that, the self-worth, doubt, all of that, the fear of being seen, not feeling more beautiful, and blah blah blah, it is not you. It has never been you. It's a system. Okay, it's the world that tried to indoctrinate us that we are not worthy, but we are inherently worthy because we are children of the Most High. We are divine. We come from the natural world. We are inherently worthy, just like everything on this planet: the water, the earth, the plants, the animals, and us, of course. Everything has worth, everything has value. All right. So, with that being said, then I wanted to share why I know exactly that I'm an expert on saying that, is because I have been called to this work for years now. I've been on this path for 10 years. And I believe just before I was ready to record this video, I thought about it. One thing that I know today is that I am quite free of judgment, quite free of judgment, especially judging other people and especially other women. And I remember a little bit more than 10 years ago, this is where it started for me. And before that, I did have a lot of, maybe a little bit of a superiority complex, right? I thought I'm better than others. I thought I'm better than others. And I thought I'm smart. Like, this is definitely my thing, right? I thought I'm smart and I'm better than others. And then life hit me almost like 10 years in a row. So the first thing that happened for me was that I had an abortion. I had an abortion. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I had an abortion. And then later on, I had many other experiences with men, especially with men, which is, of course, also this patriarchal paradigm that we as women think that we have to look for a man, especially in our 20s. We have to look for a man and we have to be in a relationship and we aspire to marriage. And we do all of the things because we think that's the timeline instead of pursuing self mastery and personal development and really knowledge of self and knowing ourselves and our gifts and our purpose and then creating value. That's what I'm all about. But of course, it's nature as well, like wanting to maybe have kids or thinking that. But I also think it's really more of a like a programming of the timeline. So I think that for me, I had to really go through all of the initiations, I call it that, humiliation rituals. Being in a relationship with a man many times is a humiliation ritual. We see that with many other celebrities, right? Like we see these amazing women then getting cheated on. It's a humiliation ritual. I mean, come on. It's no longer like, no, it doesn't pass. It's fucked up. I mean, dude, why aren't you not just honest with this woman like on the world stage? But yeah, it happened for me too. I was like, I'm thinking I have been through all of it, like everything that women go through. I feel like I had a bite of every little thing. As I said, I had the abortion. Then this humbled me. As I said before, I had a little bit of a I'm better than others. I got to know women in the red light industry, adult industry. I got to know a little bit of that. I knew like pimps and prostitutes. I also then dated millionaires and men with money. I got a lot of this treatment, like getting flown out and then the man expecting me to sleep with him and I said no, right? Like just being in the experience that many women have made and kind of being sexually SA'd, like things like that. All of that, I experienced all of it. But today I can speak about it and without any shame, right? Without any shame, because this is also something that is hopefully slowly unraveling and breaking because many times it is that women feel ashamed that those things happen to them because then we feel like we're stupid and we're naive. But yes, there is a collective naivete on women in general because we have been brainwashed to believe that men are our saviors. Right? That men are the strong agenda. No, all they have is maybe more muscles, but I believe that the woman is truly the superior agenda. And yeah, I stand by that. I don't think every man is horrible, no. But yes, I do believe that women are in general the superior agenda. And I believe that this is the reconditioning that had to take place, the rise of the divine feminine, right? The rise of the woman. And again, especially you, the woman of the global majority, because we have been in this hierarchy, right, of the elites and patriarchy, racism, and capitalism. The woman of the global majority, black and brown women all over the world, have been deemed as the bottom class, the bottom class of the societal hierarchy. And I have never accepted that at all. So we had to dismantle that. But, and again, as I said, using myself as a case study, those systems are in our DNA because these systems have been survival patterns of our ancestors, of the male and the feminine, especially the feminine, our mothers, our grandmothers. They learned to survive by appealing to the male gaze and then making themselves useful and making themselves slaves sometimes, right? Like if your mother had a man, like she was probably appeasing to him and all of that. It's just general, okay? A little bit of story, a little bit of concept. So take what's useful and leave the rest. But all of that to say is that those systems, they lived in us, and they live in us through our DNA and through like pulsating as information through our bloodline. And that is where personal transformation comes in. Personal transformation, bringing all of those patterns, survival patterns of manipulation, because the feminine has her specific survival patterns of the flight, fight, freeze, fawn, especially the fawn response. The fawn response is like the appeasing to men and being cute and innocent and a little bit of a dummy, right? That is like the this is also how we survive, right? To play the little naive girl. Yeah. So these things are all in our bloodline, in us. And I, for me, and that's why I consider myself an expert on speaking on those things, is because I feel like I had to encounter all of the situations in order to realize, oh my God, I feel like externally puppeteered. I feel like I am being like guided to all of these experience like involuntarily, but somehow it had to play out my karma, if that makes sense, right? Like all of those experience come so we can shine light on them and then hopefully evolve from them. So as I said, I had gone through a lot of humiliation rituals to then realize, okay, everything had to break down to finally choose me as the center of my life, the center of my life, honoring the goddess within me, honoring the goddess that is my head, right? Like my lineage, honoring the divine feminine within me as the divine feminine that I am, and making myself the most important person, putting myself on the pedestal, right? And honoring and worshiping myself. Self-worship, that's what it's all about, right? You are the money. You are the resource. That is what it's about. And with that being said, I believe that's exactly what I'm here for. My whole methodology of branding, like the original method, as I said, really extracting from yourself. Who are you? What are your talents? What is your magic, right? What is your practice? You can do, like, you can get everything out of you. Again, put yourself in the context of the world, then purge from all of the limiting beliefs, and then come out with your unique gift. That's what I teach in my method. Come out with your unique gift, right? Who are you? What's your archetype? What's your calling? What's your soul's mission? Right? We can see all of that in also in the astrology and the human design and the gene keys, all of that. We can see that at this point, and then really looking at your story and your in on your yeah on your story that you have lived up until now, right? Because many of it is encoded in you, and then doing a little work, not a little, honestly, to be honest, this work is quite a little bit quite some work. It's a lifelong journey. It's a practice. It's I also today I thought about it. Every day is a ritual. Every day is a ritual. Every day you have to do the work, right? You have to do the work, whatever that work is. It's not only working, but it's you, right? Whether it is your sleep, your food, your work that you're being called to do, then keeping yourself up, right? Working out, going out, whatever it is that is required for you and your archetype, you have to do that. That is the work. That's your life. I just wanted to share that I am not speaking from I'm not speaking from a disembodied state. I'm not speaking from theory. I'm not speaking from spiritual psychosis. I'm not speaking from hope and fantasy. No, the fantasy had to die. And I am speaking from true embodiment, and I'm speaking from true magic and spirituality. And I believe that in order to truly become a great spiritualist, a great goddess, a great personal brand, whatever resonates with you, a great individual, a great identity, right? That's the word that many people use today. A great identity. In order to become that, you have to understand the world that we live in. If you are aware of, again, the transition of the 5D and the new world is here and the golden age, yes, absolutely. I believe that too. And at the same time, human nature is not going to change from one day to the next, right? Especially every individual has to do their work. And it's your responsibility to do the work to purge yourself from the system that is inside your DNA, right? It's not just outside, it's inside of you. And that's the work, the deconstruction, the decolonializing, the purging all of the untruth and the implants of the lies of the human condition and the constrictions in the bloodline, in the vessels, in the DNA, in your energy centers. All of that is real. So yeah, well, that's also part of what we do. And I have mastered my craft. I have mastered myself, yes. And maybe this is like I am on my pedestal, absolutely. But I had to go through the shit in order to be here. So yeah, you can do it. I'm here to truly help. I'm really here to help. It is my mission. It is my divine mission to help women find their self-worth and make money. That's it. That's what I'm here for. Helping women find their self worth through, I call it the personal branding methodology, the original method, but also it's a lot of inner work involved. It's a lot of inner work involved. But it can be easy if you're ready to do the work. And if you know on the other side, you're going to come back out as the real you, and that's good. Like, that's also some new age things, like this no limitation is some bullshit, but you will come out as the whole you. That is also one thing that I always like to say, the holy you, the divine savage. Okay, the holy you is the divine savage woman, and that's also what you're going to grow into. And yeah, that's just what I wanted to share today. And then, of course, also just to finish off, I spoke about the methodology. It's also about using social media as your extension, right? Just like we use our bodies, our fashion, our beauty, our home, also using social media as the extension of who we truly are, as the extension of our talents, of our gifts, of our fashion, of our business, of our service. That is what you need to use social media for as well, in order to get your gifts out there. So it's going to be a full transformation from within to the without, knowing exactly who you are and what you're here to give. And yeah, I'm living, I'm the living proof, I'm the living blueprint, and I'm sharing from experience and truth so you can do the same for you too. Okay? So you're a force of nature, and I'm looking forward to see you act like it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I would highly appreciate that. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you need. And I'm looking forward to continue. Keep this going. All right. Until then, bye bye.